As of this video, the strongest rounds in Escape from Tarkov are 7.62 by 39 and 7.62 by 51, with 5.56 coming in at a close second. All rounds will one-shot head. The 7.62s will 2-hit thorax coming out of guns under 650 RPM, while 5.56 will 2 to 3 hit thorax at around 800 RPM. To find SMGs that are competitive with these setups, we'll have to look for a couple things. First, the build has to be cheaper than rifles, otherwise there's no reason to run the SMG. Second, with SMGs we want to run in close where our slower traveling bullets are most effective. So to maintain headshot advantage, we want high fire rate weapons with low recoil. Take UMP for example, it's got no recoil and 45 ACP AP is amazing. But as good as the ammo is, there's no advantage over an AK because of how slow the UMP fires. When looking at something like a 45 Vector, you're effectively giving yourself 2 chances to shoot their eyes, while your opponent only has 1, because their gun fires half the speed of yours. And finally, most importantly, the gun has to fire ammo accessible enough to run more than 1 raid per reset. SMGs fire faster, so you go through ammo quicker. You'll need more ammo per reset than rifles. For example, firing PBP out of an MPX is close enough to 855A1 out of an HK if PBP existed. And AP63 is not only much worse, you can't even play 2 raids with 90 rounds per reset. So 9mm firing weapons are useless and not competitive. Now starting from weakest to strongest. You can pause at any point if you need to. All builds will also be in the gun builds channel in my Discord. These builds do not include cost of laser and optic because those are personal preference. Okay, coming in at number 3 we have the P90 at 900 RPM. You can run the suppressed build for around 150k. Or the cheaper loud long barrel build that can be had for 2 M cables from Peacekeeper 3. Because of how tall the upper receiver is, you don't have to worry about muzzle flash when spraying the long barrel. So if you're on a budget, I'd run loud over suppressed. When it comes to ammo at 900 RPM, the only competitive thorax buster is the SS190. Pen is a little low, so DPS wise it's slightly lower than the meta guns. Here's how I imagine it. In a head-on fight, SS190 is around 4 hits to kill someone wearing class 4 and 7 hits to kill someone wearing class 5, firing at 900 RPM. 7.62 BP can 2-hit Rat Rig and 3-hit Gazelle at 600 to 650 RPM. So the P90 shoots approximately 33% faster, meaning if we scale the P90's fire rate to an AK or Mutant, to maintain the same time to kill, we have to multiply bullets to kill by the same ratio. So hypothetically, if the P90 has 600 RPM, to maintain the same time to kill, SS190 will be 3 hits on class 4 and 5 hits on class 5 rounding up, meaning it has a slower thorax time to kill. However, the gun is still viable because there are 3 rounds that can consistently pen a level 3 face shield, giving you a total of 240 rounds per reset for class 4 and 540 rounds for face shields. Being able to pen a level 3 face shield is very important as you're mainly going for headshots on SMGs. I suggest you set up your mags to top load SS190 so you can ration your higher pen ammo for more raids. The P90 has the slowest fire rate and the weakest ammo on this list, however it's the only gun with a 50 rounder. If you're playing solo, P90 may be the best choice despite the numbers because its mag capacity gives you a better chance while fighting against squads. Gameplay for this video is going to look iffy. I've got some IRL stuff at the moment along with the release of MW2, so I don't have much time to play to get footage. I'm pretty rusty in these clips, but enjoy anyway. In our number 2 spot we have the MP7. Black or tan, doesn't matter. You can run a tan one for a foregrip, but I personally haven't noticed a significant difference in recoil. For 1x optics, just remove the rear sight and use front irons. Personally, I like black because it's usually cheaper. Unlike the P90, the MP7 does not have a long barrel to reduce recoil. Nor does it have a built-in riser to avoid muzzle flash, so a suppressor is a must. At 950 RPM, the MP7 has two ammo choices, FMG SX and Subsonic SX. Subsonic can be considered similar to SS190. Meanwhile, FMG is basically a 5.56 round. You can slot it somewhere between 8.56A1 and 8.55A1 pen-wise. Unfortunately, unlike the 5.56 rounds, FMG has low damage, so it'll never 2-hit thorax on class 4, while rounds like 8.55A1 and 7.62 BP will. So that puts it in the same tier DPS-wise as SS190. But the improved pen along with its higher fire rate makes it much more consistent against class 5 and class 6. Both these rounds come together, giving you 590 rounds per reset. Everything about the MP7 is better than the P90 except for its mags. The maximum capacity you can have is 40 rounds, and this mag is unlocked at mechanic 4. So unless you're level 40, you're capped at 30 rounds maximum, which is barely enough for 2 targets.
Oh
my god, so much nades for a bunch of enemies.
Where are they? Where are they?
They were to the right, I'm telling you, throw it to the left.
No, they were right.
Are you sure?
Oh shit!
Got one? Got them both?
Moving on to number 1, of course, is the 45 Vector. Similar to the MP7, it should not be ran without a suppressor. Despite it being given a number 1 ranking, it actually has the worst recoil out of the 3 SMGs, and that's because of an increase in horizontal recoil, making the gun kick left and right. But its insane bullet damage more than makes up for it. 45 ACP AP will 2 to 3 hit class 4 at a whopping 1100 RPM, making it higher DPS than rifle rounds against class 4, and equal in DPS against class 5 and 6. Now I know what you're thinking, what happened to accessibility? With 45 ACP AP at around 100 rounds per reset, it's nowhere near accessible. Or is it? After you run out of ammo that reset, you can swap the top loading rip and bottom loading Hydroshock to run leg meta, giving you a total of 350 rounds per reset. At 137 damage, 45 rip kills in 4 leg shots, and Hydroshock at 105 damage kills in 5 hits. And if you're really struggling on ammo this reset, Laser Match gives you 300 per reset and it'll 6 hit legs, which I don't recommend because you'll be losing to rifles in terms of time to kill. Running leg meta makes a slightly lower time to kill against class 4 compared to meta rifles. However, this late into wipe, you're going to encounter more players wearing 5 and 6. And when you compare time to kill against 5 and 6, 45 leg meta actually kills faster than all the meta rounds. Except for M61, which can 2-hit thorax anything in the game. Now as overpowered as this seems, there are downsides. I've mentioned this before and I'll repeat this again. Aiming for legs means you're completely giving up the fastest time to kill option in the game, headshots. The distance from head to feet is quite far, so if you do aim for head, by the time you've recognized that you've missed the headshot, or your opponent is wearing a face shield, it's already too late, you're dead. There isn't enough time to react and pull your spray down to their feet before they kill you. Whereas with a meta weapon, you're lethal at both head and thorax, and you're going to be pulling down to the thorax during your recoil pattern. So in a close range aggressive fight where both of you are trying to swing each other, leg meta is actually at a disadvantage. Take this example. I swung this Timmy here and whiffed a bit. If I wasn't running a leg meta gun, I could get a point fire headshot first bullet, and if I missed, the rest of it is going to go into their thorax, a much larger target than focus firing 1 foot. To adapt your playstyle to leg meta, you want to slow down your play so you can get a clear line of sight to their toesy woesies. Notice how they had time to react and actually got a shot off right over my head? If I had a headshot gun, I could have just one-tapped them with no response. But with leg meta, unless their eyes are facing you, you're probably going to hit ears or top of head, and your ammo will not pen their helmet. So unless you have to headshot them, you want to avoid headshot fights. Instead of swinging into them and forcing the issue, I prefer to play off angles away from where they can pre-aim my head. Your mileage may vary. Everything sounds amazing, but there's one glaring weakness with the Vector. No matter what round you're running, you're limited to 30 round mags. Sometimes I sprayed on one person, and I don't even notice I used all 30 rounds. With how fast the gun fires and how delayed the netcode is, you will end up overshooting. On an MP7 or 30 rounder, you'll struggle after 2 kills. But on the Vector, you're most likely reloading after 1, even if you have some rounds left. The gun fires so fast, you want to be tack reloading a lot just to be safe. I got them both, but my mag has literally 0 bullets. If there was a third, you would still have a chance if you ran MP7 or P90. Anyway, that's it for today. Like the video if it helped, drop a comment, sub with the bell. You can find me on Twitch here. Thanks for watching.